Hi, I'm Ashley Atwood with Sunshine Hill Properties, and I've helped over 70 hopeful homeowners build their bridge from renting to home ownership. Now I'm here to give you the tools you need to achieve your dream of becoming a homeowner. This is the How to Be a Homeowner podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to How to Be a Homeowner. I am your host, Ashley Atwood. We're sponsored by Sunshine Hill Properties, and today I have Troy Barrett hanging out with me. Troy is a client of mine. He and his wife Margot used the Lease option program to get into a home here in Phoenix, and he's been so kind to share his time with us and tell us how the program was for him, what it meant, all of that kind of stuff. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
You bet.
Let me give you a little background on who Troy is. Troy has lived in Phoenix most of his life, moved here in 1979 from Indiana, which is, I would say, quite different.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally different. And like a million years ago, right?
Yeah. I've never actually been to Indiana, but I can imagine Arizona is a climate in its own, that's for sure. He graduated from ASU, Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications, which that's pretty cool. Walter Cronkite is famous for those things.
Yes, it is. Yeah, for sure.
And he's worked in broadcasting and journalism since the 90s. He's spent 10 years traveling from around the U.S. for his career, but has been in Phoenix for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you've had quite a journey.
Yeah.
To get where you are. Troy is now a photojournalist and news reporter for the Phoenix News Helicopter. He met his gorgeous wife, Margot, whom I adore and love, in El Paso while they were working in TV news. Got married in 2016 in Rocky Point, which is a great resort down the road from us. It's in Mexico, and it's like the best weekend getaway you could ever have, especially living in Arizona. They have 2 teen boys, and they both still work in local media today. They love to travel and getting out of town for the weekend. They love good wine, and I miss good wine. Oh my God.
I bet.
We'll have to get together for like some wine and charcuterie after this baby is.
When we moved, we found all of our good wine. We're like, we have to find somebody to share this with.
Oh my gosh, I love good wine. And I love a charcuterie board with it. It's like one of my favorite things. In fact, like my husband and I's first honeymoon, Valentine's Day together. That's all I wanted. I was like, let's just go get.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Oh, I don't need a big expensive dinner. Let's go get some wine and some charcuterie, and I will be super happy.
That's awesome.
So yes, wine we have in common, music, hanging with the kids, board games, and lots of laughing. Yeah. Margot is the executive producer for a local lifestyle show called Sonoran Living on ABC 15. Now, our group, the J Group, has been on that program. Is that how you guys found us?
That is, as a matter of fact, I think Margot was the producer for that segment, and she got to know them very well leading up to when they were on Sonoran Living. And almost 10 seconds after she had talked to them and saw the segment on TV, she called me and she was like, we've got to do this. This sounds exactly like what we need to be doing. And so we called, and at the time we were living in Ahwatukee, and which is down in it's
a neighborhood of Phoenix.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood in Phoenix.
It's fun to say.
Exactly. And so we were living there, and we were thinking about staying in that part of town. And at the time, they weren't really doing homes in that part of town. So
what do you mean doing homes?
They weren't really buying homes in that part of town, doing their program.
The lease option program.
Yeah, the lease option program. So they were kind of more concentrated in central Phoenix and in other parts of the metro, and not necessarily in Ahwatukee at the time anyway. And so we were like, okay, well, we'll check back in with you if we're looking to go somewhere else. And eventually over time, we felt like we needed to move out of that area and go to Glendale or Peoria, some other spot in a different part of town. And so we called them right away and got involved in the program. It was so easy. It was almost pain-free. I think we turned in our documents and got an answer about, what we could afford and all that in maybe a half an hour. It was
y'all
really
were
fast.
really fast. Y'all were really fast.
It was real
So
quick.
what made y'all, well, let's say what made Margot go, oh my God, this is what we need to do, number one. And then what made y'all finally decide to pull the trigger and do that?
Well, I had been married before and got divorced. And, you know, those kinds of things just sort of devastate your life from top to bottom, you know? And especially,
it's not funny, but it's funny because we relate to it.
Yeah, you chuckle because you just know in your heart that that's the truth, right? Because it just devastates your life. And since I was divorced, I was just trying to recover from that, and it took a long time to like save money, get back to where I was before financially, and it took a long time.
Credit wise,
all those things. And we had been living in Washington State before we moved back 10 years ago. We just got an apartment when we moved back, and we just sort of eventually just had to stay there. We kind of got in this loop where we just stayed and stayed and stayed.
The rental hamster wheel.
Yeah, exactly. And it seemed like we couldn't get out of it, and we were trying so hard to get out of it. We just seemed like we couldn't. And so we just saved and saved and saved and did our best to try to get into the market and get out of that hamster wheel. But it just wasn't working. And we're like, this is our way. This is our escape. We can jump out of this rental hamster wheel and get into a home. This is how we can do it. And she was so excited about it. And we looked into it right away. And even though we thought we wanted to stay in a certain part of town, and that necessarily wasn't working out at the time, we never stopped thinking about that possibility.
Right.
And it was amazing once we got in there and made the phone calls and all that stuff.
Right. I like to think of it as building a bridge to home ownership. Because a lot of people, and I'm included, I didn't get my first house until I turned 40. And I wanted to buy, had money to buy, but I was self-employed, or for whatever reason, a lot of people have trouble getting from the rental side of the, say, river or valley or whatever you want to call it. And then you have the homeowner, side of the river or valley, and making that jump is really hard. You got to be perfectly aligned to make the jump.
Yes, absolutely.
And the lease option program, especially working with us, the J Group and Sunshine Hill Properties, we give you all the resources too to help build that bridge. You start, you're on the bridge, we're building it as we go along. And so eventually, however long it might take you, some people takes 1 year, 3 months to 5 years. You're at least building that bridge, and you're getting over there. Versus hoping one day you'll be able to make the leap.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of think of life in some ways like a freeway. You know, you look at I-10, you've got people going 100 miles an hour in the left-hand lane, and other people are going through and they're going 100 miles an hour. There's also people doing 55 on the right-hand side. So everybody's going at a different pace, and it's hard to sometimes move yourself into that left-hand lane and go a little faster or achieve those goals faster. And that for us was one of those things. It just took us a long time.
And everybody's situation is different. Everybody has things that have happened in their lives, whether it was self-inflicted or not. We don't deserve to reap what we don't deserve to be punished for bad decisions in the past forever. There's got to be a way out of that cycle. And I love the lease option program for that very reason.
It's been so wonderful, like the thought of being able to finally be a homeowner and kind of get out of and participate in that part of life, you know, that part of the economy, that part of whatever you want to call it, you know. It's been so wonderful to have that option.
It's called the American dream for a reason. I mean, it's what the majority of Americans like dream to have. Dream to have their own home. Exactly.
And we are a 4-person family. You know, we got 2 teenage boys. Our apartment was getting really small.
I can imagine. They get small real fast.
Yeah, it gets small really quickly. And so like we were just, we were ready, and we had been preparing for a while, and it just kind of like all aligned, and it was wonderful. And it's been an amazing experience.
Good. Well, I'm so glad that you're here to share that experience, and we'll come back and we'll actually talk into some more detail about that in just a minute. So stay with us. We'll be right back. For this break, I'm going to mention one of our incredible sponsors, HOA.com. Did y'all know that HOA actually stands for Homeowner Alliance? They are America's #1 referral network for professionals that service homeowners. That means their entire existence is to pair quality service professionals that service your house with you as the homeowner. Go to HOA.com/Ashley to find a service professional in your area. They serve the entire country from Austin to Denver to Phoenix to Tampa. You'll be able to find somebody in your area. Also, if you are a service professional and you want to partner with HOA.com, go to the same link, HOA.com/Ashley, and sign up today. I want to start with like what the process was like for you. So you guys took a while before you finally pulled that trigger to apply for the program. So let's start with the application process and going all the way through home shopping to getting it into escrow and to moving in. So let's just kind of take it step by step.
I think what we did in the beginning, Margot's really good about these kinds of things. She will sit down and go through the website and all that, those kinds of things. She really sort of loves to dive deep into those.
There's a lot of information on the website.
So much information. And then we started looking, I believe there was a link to look at the houses that were available and where they were available. So we were kind of like picking and choosing, seeing what was out there, what kind of price they were. You know, is this something we could maybe pull off? Is it a part of town where we want to live? Those kinds of things. And then after that, we started digging through all the information on the website, and then made a couple of phone calls. And
who'd you call?
We might
Ghostbusters?
have. We might have called.
Sorry.
Yes, I think we did. Probably Ghostbusters was part of it. So we might have called. Maybe they might have given her someone to talk to.
Okay.
Like an in between. When they did the segment on Sonoran Living.
Okay.
And so I think she made a phone call and just kind of talked to them about like, hey, how does this work? What do we need to do? And then they gave her some guidance, and then we started the process of applying, getting our documents together, our financials together, and then putting all that in to the website.
So when you applied,
yeah,
I compare it to applying for a mortgage, yet it's not quite as intense.
Right.
So you do need your financial documents. You got to prove how much money you make. You got to prove they're going to run your credit. The great thing about these programs is they do tend to allow a lower credit score. We have programs that accept a 550, and then some of the others need a 620. So it just depends on what program you're working with. But they do tend to allow lower credit scores versus a mortgage, which will the lower your credit score, the higher your interest rate kind of thing. So.
I do remember that part of the conversation about all the different options based on your credit report and your background and all those things. And I do remember that as being part of the conversation. And then we went through the process, and the process didn't really take that long. It didn't seem to anyway. And then we had a price point that we were looking at. We got
approved for.
We got approved for. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then also we had we kind of had a specific date that we wanted to sort of at the end of our current rental lease. We at an apartment. We wanted to be able to move after that. So we had a lot of different little factors about when we would pull a trigger to actually start looking and all those things. So we kind of held on to our approval for a little while and did some looking online at the homes that were available and just kind of like seeing where it was we wanted to go and crossing our fingers that there was going to be something at the time we needed to move.
Yeah, I remember that because I got you guys as a client, and you said we can't move until I don't remember which date, but we can't move until this date. And we was like, well, let's just not even look because when that was happening, that was in like the peak of the crazy market that we were having here in Phoenix. And so houses that were being listed on Wednesday were gone by Sunday. So there was no point in us shopping for houses if they couldn't put an offer in and move in. So that's also like a reason to have a team behind you, because we were able to give that advice. And while I would still occasionally send houses to be like, if y'all see anything that you can't live without, you need to let me know, because it won't be there by the time you do look. But when they were ready, we went shopping,
Well, I will say this, that once you got involved and you were sending us on a periodic basis, you were sending us like emails like, hey, just checking in, how's it going? Is this date still working for you? You were really sort of holding our hand quite nicely. That was really nice for us because we were kind of, I don't say we were scared, but we were a little bit sort of trepidatious about the process getting out. We had been in our apartment for a long time. So like that was a comfort zone for us, you know, and sort of making that leap and the move to a different part of town and a whole different situation. You know, we kind of needed a little hand holding, and you were really great about that. And you kind of came in and really sort of helped us with baby steps, you know, kind of getting us prepared. And then we took your advice. We had to sometimes be like, remember, Ashley knows she's a pro. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. Let's not overthink it, you know. And so we have put a lot of trust in you, and you really came through for us.
Oh, that means a lot because I do. I care about my clients a lot. And like this whole how to be a homeowner thing came from my passion for helping people get to that other side.
Right.
And so for you to feel that, it means a lot because that's I really do genuinely care.
We really did feel taken care of, like in a super sort of maternal kind of way, you know, like you were really there for us. It didn't seem like we were ever bugging you, you know, so like you were really amazing for us. You were the perfect fit, I think, to make us
that's good. Y'all can't see, but I'm blushing.
You know, take that leap, you know, make that move. It was you know, it's a lot, you know,
it
like,
is.
and sometimes I kind of felt like maybe we were a little bit of a pain in the butt because we're planners. We like to have a lot of things in motion and know what's going to happen. That's kind of our life and our background is sort of planning and making.
Well, when you're in video production, that is 100% what your life is like.
So like everything is planned. You're looking forward. You're planning ahead, months at a time, and so it was giving us a little bit of anxiety. But nothing.
Have to wait.
Yeah, to have to wait to also know what's going to happen. We had no idea what was going to happen and how it was going to work out, and if the timing would work out, and all of those things.
Well, and there's no guarantees, obviously, but we had known the market so well that we knew that 4 or 5, it was like 5 months, I think. It was too long. Like we only needed 2 to 3 months. Just because I knew how fast this market was working for buyers. Now your application process went really fast because you had everything ready. Like you said, y'all, they're planners. So they had all their documentation ready. They uploaded it really fast and they got approved really quickly. Sometimes it takes longer for clients. Just in general, because, they're missing this W-2 or they're missing, you know, some little thing that we have to go back and forth and find. So it does sometimes take like closer to a week to get approved, as long as you're working with me and replying to the emails that I'm sending, because my goal is to get you approved and get you into a house. So I'm only going to push as hard as you want me to. So you guys got approved really, really fast, but then we waited. Because I knew the timing of everything. Once we started shopping, so once they were ready, we knew we were going to move in the next 60 to 90 days. We really lit a fire, right? Because in that market, the houses, like I said, were going away in 5 days.
So fast.
So I will only move as fast as the client will allow me to. And I knew that Margot and Troy were anxious to solidify a spot, and moving fast was better for them, right? So I started every day. I send you houses, right? And then what happens?
Well, you would send us houses. We would immediately start clicking through, finding the neighborhoods, looking about, you know, like, will this work for us? Is it the right distance from where the boys want to go to school? All those things. So that was really actually one of the most important things to us, was a certain school that the kids were going to go to, and we wanted to live in a certain radius of that school, and so that made it a little bit harder for you, probably.
That's what you want.
Yeah, we ended up being a little bit outside of that initial radius that I thought we wanted, but you really took our wants and needs and everything into consideration when you were doing that. And as soon as you started sending us homes through email, they're like, checkout, we would do that right away. And there were times when we had something planned and we would totally drop it to go look at that house because we knew how crazy fast everything was going. And we sort of got that sense from you, like, hey, we got to go, like this is, we can't wait. We can't do it over the weekend every time.
Right.
So we would just drop what we were doing. We'd go to the other side of town, look at all these homes. You were so great about showing up and making sure that we were prepared for what we were about to see, the price, all those things.
And you looked at it like you were going to buy the house.
Yes, absolutely.
Like this was as if you were about to write a check for this house.
Exactly.
Is how you looked at the house.
Exactly. We always went through the house thinking in the back of our mind, this is going to be our home. We're going to buy this. And that was our mindset. And you really set us up really well for that. You kind of helped us think about it in those terms. And it was really such a wonderful experience because we knew that you were looking out for us, location, price, all those things. And then we just had to say, yes, no, maybe, and go see those things. And we let you lead us. And it was the perfect situation for us.
And then we found you a house.
Yes.
And I remember this house.
Oh my God. We found a house.
We found a house. Oh, I forgot about that. We found this house. Okay. All right. So this is a fun story. And this happens a lot to us because people think that they're going to get a better deal. So we found this house for Margot and Troy, and we didn't get it at first, right? And then we had to go shopping again. We found a different house. But while we were negotiating the other house, this new one, the one they liked better came back to us, and we were like, we're so sorry. We really want to accept your offer. Please take us back. It was like a bad breakup, but they were calling to get us back. And so Margot and Troy had that decision. They could keep going with the house that they wanted, or they could come back and finish that contract. So we finished that. We went back to the ex-girlfriend.
Exactly. What ended up happening is we found an amazing house. We thought we really loved it. We did actually really love it. It was in a great location. It checked all the boxes. And then we found the other house. It was all the boxes plus. And so we're like, oh my gosh, I feel terrible, but we kind of like this other house better. And I kind of felt bad about doing the switcheroo, but at the same time, you're like, well, if we're going to buy this house, we should probably try to buy the one that we really, really want. And so you took care of us on the other location, and we got it. It was amazing.
Got it. And now this house had some disabled family members living in the home, and clearly incontinent pets.
Yes.
Is that the right word? Incontinent pets.
Right.
Whoo! This house needed some smell adjusting. It needed some paint. Needed a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Not a lot. It wasn't like a hoarder house where the walls were rotten out.
True.
Anything like that. They just couldn't clean the home as well as a more able-bodied person could.
Yeah. They weren't quite as mobile as you, to get down there on the floor and do some extra cleaning and to clean up after the dogs as well as they could have. And we came into the house with an open mind. We knew that is what the owner's situation was, and we were open to that. It was no big deal, no judgment. We were like, hey, if that's what you can do, that's what you can do.
Let's look at the bones of the house.
Exactly.
And we just taped our design episode. Now I don't know what order any of these are going to air just yet, but we just taped our design episode. And that's one thing that I like to make sure clients understand. There's things that are easy to fix, like ripping up the carpet, getting some new paint. All of that kind of stuff is easy to fix versus the layout in the bones of the home. Right. And the bones of the home had a great yard, a great location. It had everything that you guys needed, except for clean carpets and paint. And so I love the fact that y'all were able to look past that. And still go for that house because we were able to get a good deal for the seller, a good deal for y'all. And everybody won.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even one of the rooms was Pepto-Bismol pink. It was pink. That thing was crazy pink.
And the seller loved it. The person living there, that was their thing.
And we're like, oh, that's cool. We actually, my youngest son, he's like, oh, you should have kept it pink. He kind of was into it. And we're like, no, we're gonna have it painted, and we'll do whatever later on.
Have some pink accents.
Yeah. I'll buy you some LEDs, and you can have those turn pink. So, but it was. It was just like you said, we looked at the layout of the house. What does the living room look like? What does the kitchen look like? How are the bathrooms? Can we maneuver in this house well? And the layout was what really sold it for us. It had a lot of room. The rooms were laid out really nicely. And the other thing that we didn't sort of expect, but we love it, is the size of the backyard. It's kind of a weird little half a corner lot. And so there's a huge backyard. We weren't expecting to have that kind of backyard, and we got it, and we love it. We just love how much space it is. Yeah, that was like an extra bonus. Especially coming from an apartment. Yeah, that was such a great bonus. Yeah. And, so you really helped us out with all of those aspects, and we kind of feel like we got more than what we bargained for, or more than what we were asking for, because the house is so much more than, than what it sort of looked like on paper.
Right. Well, and you were able to make it more yours too, because you got to replace the carpet and the paint and all that. You made it more personalized.
Yeah, for sure.
So we went through the escrow process, which you guys don't really do anything.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's a lease option, Margot and Troy aren't the actual buyers of the home. Right. So there was no paperwork that they had turn in or sign or review or any of those kinds of things. We do. We help with the process of escrow and getting the investors. So the investors paid cash and bought you this home.
Right.
And so myself, along with my team at the J Group and Sunshine Hill Properties, we work together to close that house for the investor. So now the investor owns it. I keep in touch, especially if I think you guys had some questions throughout, especially when the inspection comes through. Some people want to know, hey, we want to make sure we're still good. There was no major things going on. And so I keep in touch. They're fixing the roof, just so you know, or they're replacing the air conditioning system for you, or stuff like that. Just so that you guys, because I kind of feel like y'all are more my client than the actual buyer, which is the investor.
Yeah.
Because you're the human behind it.
Right.
I mean, not that there's not people with the investors, but they're investors, and you guys are the buyers. So I try to keep in communication as much as you guys want, but it's pretty hands off for you guys during the escrow process.
Yeah, we just had to worry. That was all our job. It was like,
please close, please close.
Like, silence, no news is good news.
Please close. We do that too sometimes. So we finally close on the house. I will usually call and let you guys know, hey, we closed, congratulations, one step closer. And then you guys had the investors replace the carpet and the paint.
We did.
For you, right? So you didn't have to come in and do that once you moved in.
Correct. Yeah, and it looks beautiful. We got to pick the colors and sort of a carpet style, which was great, and sort of a carpet color. So we were involved a little bit in the process, of like what it was going to eventually look like. And that was great. And then, there's an option for the appliances and those kinds of things, which was fantastic. And, that helped us out too, because, at the same time of trying to figure out moving and all these things, I can't imagine like trying to figure out how to coordinate getting a stove and a refrigerator and all those things, and you guys took care of all of it.
You're gonna think about when
took care of everything. Yeah. And it felt so nice. It felt very sort of concierge, like you were really taking care of us. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have to do a lot per se. And so it felt like we were being taken care of, it was very nice. Good. Yeah, it was great.
And y'all moved in.
Yes.
I went to visit, and the house smelled so much better.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I'm still finding a few spots where there's some dog hair, I got to clean up outside, but it's like not a big deal.
Yeah. But it's not like living in an apartment where the maintenance crew takes care of everything.
Right, exactly.
While there is a property management company that will usually help with like the big stuff.
Yeah.
it's your responsibility to
Yeah.
maintain the landscaping, to
Mhm.
change the light bulbs, to change the air filters,
Right.
to maintain the appliances,
Mhm.
because you don't want them to go out.
Right.
So you have a little more responsibility
Mhm.
than renting an apartment,
Yeah.
but not quite yet home ownership
Right.
level type
Exactly.
stuff. So it's kind of, again, you're building those skills, you're building those things that you
Right.
need as you get across there. But
And it's been nice, honestly, to kind of feel like you're sort of investing yourself into the house. Like it really feels like, you're putting up blinds, or you're doing some light stuff around the house, whether it's landscaping or whatever it is. You're maintaining the home, and it feels like that just makes it feel more like your house. You know what I mean? You're kind of really investing yourself into the home, and it's been really
right.
nice.
Instead of improving somebody else's house,
Right.
you're improving your house.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
going to be your house. So you don't have that reservation of, oh, well, why would I take care of this?
Yeah.
It's not mine anyway.
Mhm.
It is going to be yours.
Yes, it will be.
So you guys are in.
Mhm.
You have a 1-year lease. When did y'all move in?
The middle of June.
So it's it's August 1st right now.
Yes.
Well, as taping. So
Mhm.
just barely a month and a half.
About a month and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You have a year lease. You have the option to renew that lease every year,
Mhm.
or buy it,
Right.
or leave if you guys so choose.
Right.
And you also have your right to purchase price.
Mhm.
What is your understanding of a right to purchase price, and why do you think that's important?
Well, what we understand, from what we do understand, we will be presented with a right to purchase price that includes not only the price of the home, but any of the improvements that were done, the painting, carpet, those kinds of things.
Closing costs,
those kinds of things, and whatever it comes out to be at the very end, that could be our right to purchase price. But I think the real benefit is once you actually see that price, you will probably find that there's going to be a lot of equity in the home that is sort of naturally built in, that you didn't really have to do a whole lot for.
Right.
And it's almost like a gift.
It is. It's free
in
money.
a way, absolutely. And so we're looking forward to getting that paperwork and looking at it. And the other thing that we know too is that if we continue to rent, that our rental price, the per month price, will only go up every year by a certain percentage. So we're not going to be surprised, like many people have been surprised in the past few months, of a 40, 50, 60% increase in rent. We know that it's going to be a certain percentage over time. And so that's
written out on paper for you before you sign anything.
Exactly. That's definitely in the paperwork. And when you finish everything out, you see all those numbers and you know ahead of time. So that helps us out too. We're planning into the future, like, okay, well, maybe if we can do this, this, and this, we can buy the house at year one.
Right. It helps you know how much you can save every month and do that. And your right to purchase price is the same way. So when you first get into the home, you're given an estimate of what your right to purchase price is. And that's because they don't know how much it's going to cost to replace the carpets or the paint.
Right.
If that's even what you choose to do, it's not required. Some homes have holes in walls that they need to patch. Some homes have AC repairs. Things that they need to invest in to make sure that the home is ready for you. That all kind of gets put into the cost of the house. And then there is a locked in rate. So right now with Home Partners, which is what y'all use, it's 5.5%.
Yeah.
And so whatever they invest into the home, they're going to mark it up 5.5%, and that will be your right to purchase price for one whole year. And it goes up 5.5% every year, because obviously you can't wait 5 years at only 5.5%. That's not fair to the investors that are holding it. But it's still a really fair price considering the average home appreciation rate in Phoenix is 13%.
Right.
So that's not including the crazy market that we just had.
Right.
But we're just looking at the average over the past 10 years. This has been the average 13%. So you're saving, what is that? Almost 8% every year on the price of your home,
Yes.
no matter how long it takes to go. Now, everybody's market's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's listening from Phoenix.
Right, yeah.
So if you're in Texas or Florida or wherever, those markup prices or percentages are different.
Right.
We'll be able to help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as the average appreciation is going to be
Yes.
different for wherever you live. So, but I love the fact that it's locked in.
Yes.
Same reason that you like the rent being locked in, you can plan.
Yes.
If you know that it's going to take you 3 years to pay off this credit card and save this much money, you know exactly what you're saving for,
Right.
and you can plan for that rather than just, again, hoping one day
Right.
you're going to be able to afford that 3-bedroom home that you really want and jump over
Yes.
jump to the other side.
And
this is building that bridge, and it's making it easier for you to get over there.
Yeah. And it's motivating, you know, like you have this thing, you have a clear goal, and you just like want to run to that goal because it's, I don't know, it's very, at least for us anyway, it's very comforting to know that kind of future, you know what I mean? You see the number, you see what it is, and you're like, I know how to get there. I'm going to get there. And it's really kind of very motivating. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I don't just jump off the face of the earth either. Once I get y'all into a home, I like to think that I'm always there for you guys with any kind of resources that you need. Credit repair. I have financial planners. I have, you know, tons of resources available, or at least contacts for you guys to help with that planning and getting you over there. So I say it in an email. Once you're family, like once you're here, you're family. And I don't ever want anybody to feel like they were abandoned in the process.
Well, I can definitely vouch for that part, because I feel like when we met you, like we were so comfortable with you. You was really friendly. You know, we've met with real estate agents in the past, and it feels very transactional. You know, it feels very just business.
Well, it is business.
Yeah, it is business, but at the same time, we felt like you were taking care of us. We felt like you were treating us like you would treat a family member or a friend or something like that, and that really made us feel good too. We were so comfortable that it helped us sort of calm down a little bit and just sort of follow the process.
You've got somebody in your corner.
Yes, we definitely felt that, and we appreciated
Which is important in the home buying world, because it's very scary.
It really is.
It's the biggest purchase you're ever going to make for most people. And that's the biggest purchase they're ever going to make. And so to have somebody that you know is fighting for you and is in your corner and looking out for your best interest is important. You can go for sale by owner. You can do it on your own, but you have to understand that everybody's looking out for themselves. And if you don't have anybody looking out for you, then it's going to be very easy for you to be taken advantage of.
Absolutely. And I really do feel like with the way that the Phoenix market was behaving at the time, we had zero chance of getting a home without you guys. Zero chance. There was no way we could have pulled it off. And so, not that we weren't qualified and not that we weren't prepared. It's just that the way that the market was going at the time,
it was so competitive,
and just sort of people like us, we had no chance. We really didn't. We kind of felt like we needed the help. And it was this program was the perfect help that we needed. It was exactly what we needed. It gave us a competitive edge. It was, something that we could believe in and do. And we felt like we're really, it felt kind of special to be able to like not feel like we were being left out. You know what I mean?
It is. It is. It's giving people a chance that don't normally have, wouldn't have normally had one. So,
and we appreciate it so much. It really has been.
It's been my pleasure. I tell you what, every time I run into or go and see Margot and Troy, they're like, thank you. I'm like, no, seriously. You guys brought me so much joy. And I mean, helping you guys pays my bills as well. I've got a baby coming, so you guys. And thank you for the baby gift. That was so sweet. That was so sweet.
We couldn't wait.
Unexpected.
We couldn't wait to buy a baby gift.
Well, we love baby gifts. So thank you very much for that. But it's give and take. I truly care. I want to help you. It's been a true pleasure. And then of course, y'all being a part of my life has enhanced mine as well. So thank you for that. So Troy is starting his own business using all of the crazy amounts of knowledge that he has in his career. And so I want him to give a chance to talk about it.
Oh, thanks.
Go for it. What are you starting up?
So I have, more than a decade's worth of experience, almost 2 decades now of experience of video production, social media management, graphic design, web design, and web creation, website management and hosting. And so I have all this sort of knowledge in my back pocket, and I've thought to myself, well, I need to be using what it is that I have and know. So right now I'm in the process of putting a business together to offer that to small businesses mainly, maybe a company that doesn't really have a huge budget. They're not going to spend $10,000, $15,000 on something like that. Maybe they want to spend a couple $1,000 here and there, maybe $500 a month, $1,000 a month on social media management, a little bit of digital marketing through Google AdWords and video production, website, all those things. There are a lot of businesses out there that have those needs, but maybe their budget isn't very large.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all have those needs.
Yeah.
I think if you run a business at all, you have to have digital marketing. It is just that day and age, whether you like social media or not.
Right.
It's here to stay, and it changes fast as well. Exactly. Because I know TikTok and Snapchat weren't a thing, 10 years ago, and like everything is evolving so fast that unless you're just on it all the time, it's impossible to keep up with it.
With our broadcasting background, Margot and I, we are sort of, I wouldn't say forced, but we are in that lane where we know about it, use it, utilize it all the time. And so we're constantly up to date on all those new technologies. And so if there's anybody out there who needs a website, or maybe you don't like the person who manages your website and they're not responding to you, I always answer my phone and text and get right to my web clients right away and do updates and things like that. So, it's one of those things where I enjoy helping people who are doing what they're passionate about, a small business. Most small business owners are super passionate. And at the end of the day, they just don't have the time to know 6 different platforms, how to do Google AdWords, how to do their website.
I don't.
They sometimes wrangle a kid or a cousin who's 15 or 16 and have them try to do it. And that's not super reliable either. So I'm a person who can come in, use my knowledge and my background and be able to provide that service at not necessarily a super high cost. If you go to one of the big companies in town, they're going to charge you a lot of money. So I can come in, kind of help people out on a personal basis, kind of like what you did for us. Be there personally.
Customize it to their needs and their budgets and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And if you need something, you can just call me and you get me right away and I'll react to that and make changes or fix it, whatever it needs to be done, And so I've had some success with some clients and some people that I know that kind of needed that help. And that's kind of what sparked me to move in that direction. So I'm going to put that together here real soon.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity because it can get expensive for us that are smaller budgeted businesses. I'm a single person. I mean, not single.
But
I don't have a huge employee staff. I don't make millions of revenue, all of that kind of thing. So to be able to have somebody coming in and, hey, I can work with this budget and start you small, because you might not even be ready for, even if you had, a trust that could pay for it, maybe you're not ready for that kind of volume that might come in.
Exactly.
So having a smaller budget in that and just ramping up that client base is going to help you grow at a steady pace.
And it's comfortable for the small business too. Like, you don't want to lay over a lot of money sometimes for something you may not like at the end of the day. And so we can always work within people's budgets, whether it's a short social media video, if it's like a video showing maybe you're a dentist and you want to document yourself doing a crown or a root canal. We can do all those things. And so it's exactly what you want. We can customize it to you, and we're keeping it kind of small as far as our clients and who we hire. And so that is keeping it personal. It's keeping it where we're accessible.
Well, that's very exciting. I'm excited for you.
Thanks.
We'll definitely spread the word.
Yeah.
And if somebody is interested in your services, Troy, how do they get a hold of you?
Probably the best way to do it is hit me up on Instagram. It's the Troy Barrett on Instagram, and you'll find some interesting pictures from the helicopter and different parts of just my everyday life on there. But you can send me a message on Instagram and I'll get right back to you.
Go to his DMs, get in there, ask for some help, reach out. Well, hey, do you have any last minute words before we end for any new homeowner or new home buyer that maybe needs a little bit of encouragement, inspiration?
I think that it's real easy to get into that mode of maybe you're sort of doubting yourself, whether you could do it, whether it can actually be done. And I say all you got to do is you just got to try it. Take the leap. If you turn in your documents and all those things, and maybe it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be, okay, well, now you have that knowledge and you can go ahead and move forward and try to figure out how to get yourself there. But you got to make that first step. So stop doubting yourself, get in there, get your financial documents together, figure out when you want to move and what your goals are, and just get in there and do it. Just do it. Yeah.
If you need somebody to just review your paperwork or whatever, give me a call. I'll hook you up with some resources that can give you that first, hey, this is where you are and this is where you need to be, because otherwise you don't know. And it makes it even scarier because you're in this void of unknowing. So would love to help you pinpoint that.
One last thing, I'll say this, and I mean, I wouldn't say this lightly, but this whole process has changed our life. We were in this sort of rut of just being in an apartment, and now we're in a home, and it has changed our life 180 degrees. And we are so happy, and we're so happy that we made the leap to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, can I give you a hug?
Sure.
Yay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
so much
for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. If you need anything, I've got everything in the show notes. I'm here for you guys. And Humphrey Bogart's going to come visit now too. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Sunshine Hill Properties is proud to bring you the How to Be a Homeowner podcast. If you have more questions, ask them in the comment section. I will be featuring and answering them in upcoming episodes. If you like the show, leave a review and share it with a friend. Our goal is to help as many people as possible achieve their dreams, and your reviews help reach those people. If you are ready to build your bridge to homeownership, reach out to me at sunshinehillproperties.com to make an appointment for a call. No matter where you are in the country or on your journey, I'm ready to get you headed in the right direction with a free consultation. Interested in finding a trusted service provider in your area or partnering with HOA.com as a service professional? Go to HOA.com/Ashley. Are you an agent? Great. I am growing my team in states across the country. Let's schedule a call to see if we need an agent to cover your area. Visit sunshinehillproperties.com. Want a career in real estate? You're not an agent yet, but you still want a career? That's still wonderful. I'd love to talk to you about training with me or one of my team members. Contact us at, you guessed it, sunshinehillproperties.com. I have to shout out our amazing post-production team. Thank you, Space Dream Productions, for doing every bit of post-production. I truly could not have made this show happen without you. And last but not least, if you don't want to miss a thing, be sure to subscribe to us now on the How to Be a Homeowner podcast.